So welcome again to Mindful Yoga. Please find yourself very comfortable. I really like to bring out the sits bones a little bit. So bringing out the flesh from the buttocks and grounding the sits bones and maybe rocking a little side to side, forward and back, and find that center balance. Sometimes we're not aware that we have a little bit of asymmetry. Everybody does. So I know my spine tends to go over to one side because I have a little scoliosis in the low back. So I tend to tilt over and I have to consciously bring myself over to the other side and sit nice and tall. Sometimes we're a little tense and we bring the shoulders up. So let's feel that. Let's intensify that. Bring the shoulders up to the ears and really squeeze tight. And don't forget to breathe. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just slowly release it down. We'll do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. Bring the shoulders way up to the ears. And exhale, slow release. Never let them go sharply. You could hurt yourself. So nice and easy. Good, and just relax a little bit more. Shake it out. Roll the shoulders. And then let the shoulders rest slightly back and down. The hands resting on the thighs, palms up or down. Let your eyes begin to close a little bit. Begin to breathe. And in today's class, we're going to focus on intention. With intention, we deliberately withdraw from the ego's habits to measure up or to prove. And it's this conscious use and deliberate use of mind and attention to move us towards consciousness, which is a state of being rather than a state of proving. So our intention for this class will be, I release all struggles. Sometimes we get at our edge in a pose and we begin to get a little agitated. The mind starts getting active and criticizing ourselves, judging ourselves. So that's not where we want to be. We want to begin to withdraw from those habitual ways of thinking in our lives, and we practice here on our mat. So we're doing the poses to access consciousness, not to perpetuate the ego and the habits of the ego. So we're not fighting it, but we're just redirecting that attention. So again, let's close the eyes. If you've opened your eyes, let them relax, closed. And direct all your attention inside. Beginning to shift from doing and thinking and all the busyness in our days to just feeling and being. And just feel all the muscles in your body softening. Your jaw, your eyes, your brow. Just make sure your teeth are separate. We hold a lot of tension in the jaw, and that translates into the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the spine. So we want to be sure that jaw is loose and relaxed. And just let that relaxation float down to your shoulders. So they're nice and heavy, and the arms can be heavy, elbows into the body. And the belly soft. As the breath deepens, the belly softens more and more. We're not forcing the breath in, but with a full exhalation, the next breath is naturally deeper. So take those deep breaths. And let the exhalations be long and slow. And on your exhalations, beginning to draw the navel in towards the spine to really fully empty out. Softening the pelvis and the legs. Breathing our 3-part breath, Dirga Pranayama, breathing into the belly, and just witnessing the breath rising from there all the way to the top. And consciously exhaling from top to bottom. And again, feeling the belly draw in the very end of the exhalation, right back towards the spine. And bringing the hands to the heart, please join me as we chant one sound of Om together. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhaling fully. And inhaling deeply. And then letting your eyes open. And slowly, as you lower your arms, just rock back, pick up your knees, and find your way onto your back. We'll begin on our back this morning. And it might feel good to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out to the side. And you can place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And again, simply follow your breath and let the exhalations release your body down into the floor. If it doesn't feel good to have your soles of your feet together and recline Baddha Konasana, you can place your feet on the mat nice and wide and let the knees just knock in towards each other. Feel the melting of the body into the earth, but feel yourself held underneath and supported. And just follow this beautiful sacred breath. Two more rounds of breath, breathing deeply into the belly. Feel the fullness of the inhalation and the release and softening with the exhalations. Feeling very present with this experience. And then lowering the arms to the mat and placing both feet onto the mat. Let's draw the right knee into the chest, tuck your chin a little bit, and extend the left leg on the floor, flexing both ankles. Reach through your left heel. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, gently draw that right thigh into the chest. You can have your left heel on the mat or lifted slightly. And then inhale, and we're going to switch legs. Straighten out the right leg. Interlace your fingers below the left knee. Taking another breath in. And exhaling, drawing the left thigh into the chest. And now we're going to move with the breath. Inhale, switch. Exhale, draw the right thigh into the chest. Reach through the left heel. And inhale, switch. Exhale, reach right. Exhale, left thigh into the chest. Once more, inhale, switching the other side. Inhale, switch, exhale. And inhale, release both feet to the mat. Let your arms rest by your sides. And it might feel good actually to bring both knees into the chest and holding below both knees and just giving a little rock or make circles with your low back. Nice small circles just to give the low back a little massage. And if you're circling, let's go the other direction. And then we're going to place our hands behind the thighs. We're going to do a little rocking and come up to a seated position. Let's inhale back, exhale forward, and on the next exhalation, exhale forcefully. Ha! Inhale. Ha! Inhale. Ha! One more. And let yourself come up. Place your feet onto the mat. And we're going to place our hands below the knees with the knees and feet together. And inhale, a little cat and cow seated. So we're going to roll the shoulders back. Let the belly come forward, lift the heart, lift your gaze. And exhale, tuck your tail round and hold onto your knees so you can press your spine behind you, drop your chin. And then inhaling again, letting the tail lift, undulating through the spine. This is a nice heart opener, gives a little lift in the body. And exhaling, tucking and rounding, but going at your pace with your body. Good. And next inhalation coming up, and we're going to place our hands behind us, about shoulder width apart with the fingers pointing towards you. We're going to extend the right leg and press into the hands and let your heart lift. You want to feel the shoulders coming behind you. We don't want to drop the head back, but keep the back of the neck long. And you can stay right here if it feels good. We want to make sure the heart stays open. Or if it feels right on your arms and your wrists, you can press into that left foot, the right heel, and lift your hips. Again, the back of the neck is long, and then you can begin to reach it back, not letting it just drop, but lengthen and keep pressing your hips upwards. Press into that left foot and that right heel. Keep breathing. If you can't breathe, you're probably too far. Be very mindful of your body. One more breath in. And exhale, slowly release back down. And we'll switch feet. Right foot on the mat, left foot extended. If you need to take a break and roll your wrists, let's do that. Maybe shake them out. And again, bringing your hands behind you, pressing into the right foot and that left heel, first lifting the heart. Noticing how this feels and perhaps going further with your next exhalation, lifting, but keep the heart expanded. If you begin to collapse in your heart, then just stay here. Otherwise, lifting up, lengthening through the whole spine, through the back of the neck, and reaching the head back only if it feels right. Keep long, keep the lift. You press into that right foot, that left heel. Breathe into the belly, ribs, chest. One more. And as you exhale, slowly bring yourself back down. Good. And then very slowly come onto your hands and knees. Stacking the shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees and feet hip width apart. Let's do just one more round or two of cat and cow here. It's so nice for the spine. So let's press down, inhale, let the tail begin to lift. You can curl your toes here and let your heart come through and lift your head, lift your gaze upwards. And exhale, you can bring the tops of the feet to the mat to press down, to curl the tail under, pressing into the hands to round the back, drop the head down. Curling the toes, inhale, tail lifts, move through that spine. And on your next exhalation, as you bring the top of the feet to the mat, you can curl and sit back towards your heels if that feels good. And then on your next inhalation, lowering the elbows, forearms, and wrists. Inhale, sliding forward and up into our cow pose. And exhale, if that feels good, you can continue this or the traditional cat and cow. Use those breaths. Inhale deeply, harmonizing your movement with the breath as if you're in a deep meditation. Just feeling every movement in your body. Last time. And inhaling, coming to cow pose, and then into a neutral spine. And we're going to step the right foot forward, and then the left, with the feet about hip width apart, just coming into a nice, easy forward fold. So bend the knees. Notice my knees are generously bent.
Bringing my chest down onto my thighs and letting the head drop down. Let your toes spread out nice and wide and root in all four corners of your feet. The insides of the feet parallel, so the heels are slightly apart. And maybe to get a little neck traction, we can interlace the fingers behind the neck, the base of the skull, and just allow the weight of the arms to pull the head down gently. Breathe as you hold. Just letting all the tension drain out of the shoulders and the neck. And if you like, you can lower your arms. If you want to get a chest expansion, you can interlace your fingers behind your back. Reach the knuckles back and up on your exhalations, maybe softening the arms a little further forward. Again, keeping those knees a little bent, but feel your inner thighs rolling back a little bit. Feel your heart reaching down towards the earth as well as the crown of your head. And on your next inhalation, slowly lower the hands back down to your back. Release the arms. And take a breath in. Lift your head and chest, coming up halfway. Maybe the hands come onto your shins or onto the mat. Wherever you are, just come up halfway. Nice straight spine. And exhale, lower back down. And bringing our hands to the hips, bring the elbows in and back. Lift your head and chest, and as you inhale, slowly rise to a standing position. Relax your arms by your sides. Just let your body breathe. Being very mindful of just this moment. Take a deep breath in, bring the arms out and up overhead. And exhale the hands towards the heart. And once more, hinge forward, bend your knees. Bring your hands down onto the mat, drop your head down. On your next inhalation, take a step back with your right foot. Lower that right knee. Bring the top of the right foot onto the mat. And align your left knee directly above your ankle. Lift the chest. Let the pelvis relax down. In fact, let's come up a little bit on an in-breath. And exhale, settle down. Again, inhaling. And exhale. So relaxing the pelvis down. You might want to do that a couple more times. When you feel you can just relax and let the pelvis rest down. Then just let it sink, drawing that right hip a little forward. Pressing into that left foot. And you can be on blocks here, by the way. Remember, we have 3 heights on the blocks. You never want to struggle. Remember, our intention is to release struggle, to shift to consciousness rather than the ego trying to prove anything. We shift into our ego mind unconsciously, so we're being very, very conscious. On your next inhalation, let's bring our hands to the thigh and bring ourselves up. And you want to be very conscious of your low back. If it's beginning to feel compressed, then you can bring that left foot closer to you so the right hip is directly over the knee. We want to keep the low back in. But if you can inch that foot forward and still keep that low back pulled in, then you can be here. And keeping, again, that left knee directly over the ankle. Keeping the right hip square. We're going to inhale, bring the arms out and up. Again, pulling the low back in, lengthening off the hips so the waist is reaching up towards the sky. Arms reaching up, fingertips reaching up, and notice your breathing. Take a nice breath in, take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and lengthen upwards. Pull that arm up as you inhale, and then exhale, slowly hinge over to the left. You don't have to go far, but keep the breath deep and steady, opening the right side. Inhale, reach and come up. And exhale, slowly lower the hands to the mat. Good. Let's curl the right toes under. Step forward with the right foot, once more in a forward fold.
Allow your body to receive this release down. Inhale the hands again to the floor or to your shins, halfway up. Exhale, lower back down. Once again, hands to the hips, elbows in and back. Lift the head and chest. Inhale, slowly come to standing. Exhale, release the arms. Take a deep breath. And let go fully. So again, you can arrive here, just here. Good. Again, let's inhale the arms out and up. Hands in prayer position as again we once more fold forward. Bent knees are bent, hands on the mat, drop the head down. And this time take a breath in and exhale, step back with your left foot, lowering the left knee, top of the left foot onto the mat. And again, taking those breaths in, coming up, and exhaling, sinking the pelvis down, not letting this right knee come forward of the ankle. And just relaxing that pelvis down. You're finding your edge here, where you feel comfortable, where you can stay. We're getting a good stretch to the inner left groin. And when you find a place that feels good, you can relax there. Let the pelvis really sink down. Notice if the left hip is coming back, you want to draw it forward. Good. Use those breaths, those exhalations to relax where you might be holding some tension. Good. And bringing the hands now to the right thigh. Inhale, press yourself up. And once more, as needed, adjust your stance. You might need to draw that right foot closer in if your low back is feeling compressed. Upper buttocks are down and in. And we lengthen. Take your arms out to the sides. Inhale. Reach upwards. Draw that left hip forward as best you can. Feel the inner thighs scissoring towards each other. You're going to feel a little more work happening in your muscles. And let's take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. And inhale, reach that left arm straight up. And exhale slowly over to the right. We're keeping both sides long here. We're not collapsing in the right side. And breathing into the belly, but also into the side ribs of the left. Into those intercostal muscles, creating a little more space for breath. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, slowly float the arms back down. Curl the left toes under, step forward with your left foot. Once more, nice forward fold. And breathe. Bend your knees, hands on your hips, lift your head and chest, elbows in. Inhale all the way to standing. And exhale, let your arms relax by your sides. Breathe. Simply follow the natural flow of breath. Witness the changes in your whole body, in your breath, aligning with the present moment. Good. And opening your eyes when you're ready. We're going to come to a supported back bend. So place your hands on your low back with your fingertips pointing down, right on that sacrum, that triangle bony part of the low back. And we're going to use this for support to press into the low back. But first, establish your feet. If you're hip width apart, it's nice to spread the toes out so we're nice and grounded. So we're finding our mountain pose here. Press into all four corners of the feet. As we press down, we lengthen up through the spine, through the crown of the head, and we breathe. Establish the smooth, steady breath, your Ujjayi Dirga Pranayama, an ocean-sounding three-part breath. As you press down and inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, lift your heart. And again, inhale, lift your heart right up towards the sky. As you press your hands into your low back, the hips may come forward, but the heart, you're focusing on lifting the heart straight up. Lift your gaze. Again, as we did before, we're not dropping the head back, but again, lengthening from between the shoulder blades at the base of the skull, and out through the crown. Notice if your knees are locked, soften them slightly. Breathe. And on your next inhalation, slowly come out. And exhale, release your hands and breathe. Good. And now we'll prepare for warrior pose. So let's stand with our feet hip width apart as we were. You can just stay right where you were. Let's bring the hands to the hips. Once more, standing tall, elbows in and back. Take a deep breath in, shift your weight into your left foot, bend the left knee, and we'll step straight back with the right foot. Remember, you don't have to be where you land. You might want to bring it back a little bit or forward. The left knee's over the ankle. You're on the ball of the right foot. The heel is up towards the sky. We're leaning forward maybe at first, then bending the back knee, coming vertical, pulling the low back in as we did before, and then maybe straightening that back leg, but it doesn't have to be straight. The left thigh is approaching parallel to the floor, but doesn't have to be. Again, we want to be sure that that right hip isn't coming back. We're pulling it forward. Upper buttocks down and in. Press into the front foot firmly and into the rear heel firmly. Feel the inner thighs squeezing towards each other just a little bit. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Soft gaze forward, steady, smooth breath. Inhale, slowly extend the arms overhead. Remember to adjust as you need for your shoulders. Maybe press the palms together and interlace into temple, releasing the index finger. If this doesn't feel right, you can be in cactus. Otherwise, you can be here with the arms alongside your ears as best you can. Remember to pull that right hip forward, square the hips towards the front. Lengthen off the pelvis, so you're lengthening through the waist. And if you can breathe here deep and smooth, you can find your edge, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be stagnant and steady. You can always be adjusting. The whole pose can be continually moving from edge to edge to edge. But make sure you can breathe. One more. And as you exhale, slowly begin to lower the hands to your heart. Take a nice breath in. And exhale, lean forward, lowering your hands to the mat. Step onto that left foot, let that right foot drag towards you, and then maybe lift that foot up. So you can use blocks here to get a little height. Remember, there are 3 heights on the block. And you can keep hinging at the hips, dropping the head, and raising that right foot. Spiral that left inner thigh back. Toes towards the floor of the right foot. Take another breath. Exhale, bend that right knee, lower the right foot to the mat. And inhale, sweep the arms out and all the way up. And exhale, lower the hands again to your heart. Releasing the arms. And let yourself arrive right back into that meditative state, that state of conscious awareness. This place of complete calm and serenity as you simply witness the energy that's been released through the pose. Good. And ready for the other side, opening your eyes. Feet are still hip width apart, hands on the hips. Warrior pose on the other side now. Standing tall, pressing into both feet, extending up through the spine, always beginning in mountain pose. Shifting our weight into the right foot, bending the right knee, take a deep breath in. And exhale, this time stepping straight back with the left foot. Adjust your stance. Right knee's over the ankle, you're on the ball of the left foot, heel is up towards the sky. Hips are square to the front. Remember, maybe leaning forward, bending the back knee, coming vertical. Low back down and in, tail is in, and then maybe straightening the back leg. Again, keeping it bent as needed. Keep that right knee tracking directly over the ankle, knee facing forward, toes forward, and pressing into the front foot and the rear heel. So we're nice and grounded in our warrior pose. Belly comes in. And again, we can bring the hands to the heart. And inhale slowly, again, raising the arms up overhead. I release all struggle If you're finding you're struggling in any way, that's an indication that you're beyond your edge. And adjusting so that we can stay in the pose with calm and peaceful mind. Inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. Lifting off the pelvis. One more breath. And exhale, slowly lowering the hands to your heart. Once more, leaning forward, hands on the floor or blocks. Drawing the left foot towards you. And then slowly lifting that left leg. Let the crown of the head drop down. Doesn't matter how high you come. But feel strong in that right foot. Reach through the left toes. Spiral that left inner thigh up towards the sky. One more breath. And exhale. Lower that left foot back to the mat. Hands to the hips, elbows in and back. Inhale all the way to standing. And exhale, lower your arms. And simply receive. And letting your eyes open when you're ready. Okay. Preparing for Trikonasana triangle pose. Hands on the hips once more. Feet hip width apart. We're going to take a nice breath in. And exhale, shift your weight to the left foot. Bend your left knee, step back with the right. This time we're going to turn to face forward, straightening that that left leg. We want to see that the left heel would intersect the right arch. If you drew a line, you might need to adjust your feet. Turning the torso to face front. With your right toes slightly turned in. And again, notice if the buttocks is lifted, you want to drop that upper buttocks down, pull the tail in, navel pulled into the spine. Feet pulling in towards each other, so our legs are very, very strong in Trikonasana. So we're going to take a breath in, bring the arms up. And what I like to do is bring my left hand to my right ear. Take a breath in and exhale. We're going to shift the hips to the right. I'm not mirroring you, so you're going the opposite direction I am. And I'm keeping my whole left side really long as I reach. So the left hip is lowering, the right hip is high. And again, pull the low back in. We don't want that buttocks to lift. So find that edge. And without moving your torso, when you're at your edge, just go ahead and lower that left hand down. It could be on the inside of your left leg. And bring your right arm up if it feels good. So notice if that shoulder is coming forward, that right shoulder, then you're too far down. You want to come back up. Maybe be here. This is fine. Otherwise, if you can be here, that's good too. You can also take a block. Bring that right hip back, the right shoulder back. Breathe. Take another breath. Come up a little bit and bend that left knee. Place your forearm on the left thigh, coming into now warrior angle. You can press that right elbow into the right thigh to bring that knee back over the ankle. Bringing that right shoulder back. And lengthening now, up, 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 through the right fingers. Pressing that left knee back. The right hip back. Breathe deeply. One more breath. And inhale, come back up, straightening the leg. Turning the right toes in, lowering the arms. We'll pause between sides if it feels comfortable. Just step the feet a little bit together and relax. Let the mind empty out. Let it empty out into the sensations, into the breath, with a very soft Ujjayi Dirga Pranayama. And opening our eyes, Preparing for Trikonasana on the other side. I'd like to widen my feet a little bit, but you do what feels right for you. I'm going to turn my right toes to the right, left toes part way in, turning my torso, and again checking that my buttocks aren't lifted. Upper buttocks come down and the tail pulls in and the belly pulls in. Feel the legs strong. Feel like you're pulling the feet towards each other. This is going to keep the legs very active. We want the thighs always very active in triangle pose. Again, let's inhale the arms out. Bring that right hand over your head to your left ear. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, begin to reach with your elbow to the right. Shifting the hips to the left. Keep that tail down and in. And then find your edge. We want to stay long in this right side by keeping the left shoulder back. And then when you find that edge, you can lower that right hand and raise the left. And notice once again, if that left shoulder is collapsing in, then you're too far down. Try to stack the wrists. We're creating the triangle shapes here. Good. And take a breath in, come up a little bit, bend that right knee, place your right forearm on the right thigh, press that right knee back with your arm. Good, coming into our warrior angle. Again, keeping that left shoulder back and the left hip back. Feel free if you like to bring that left arm alongside your ear. Breathe. Notice as you have a steady breath, it steadies the mind. Good. Inhale all the way back up, straightening that right leg, turning the toes in, lowering the arms and heel toe, the feet back together. Let your eyes just close. Dive into the experience of this. When we notice the mind pulling us in different directions, we simply redirect that energy, that focus to the breath and to the body. And opening the eyes when you're ready. Let's bring our feet hip width apart. Preparing for standing yoga mudra. We did this before. If you join me interlacing the fingers behind the back, it's a forward fold. We're going to inhale the arms out and up. And as you exhale, lower the arms, bringing them behind you, just lowering them enough to bring the hands together behind you. Interlace the fingers and reach the knuckles down. Again, we're standing in mountain pose, so we're pressing into both feet. Extending up. Take a deep breath in as you lengthen. And as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward at the hip creases. Remember, it's a hinge at the hip creases, not in the spine. So we're just reaching back with the knuckles, hinging at the hips, reaching through the crown of the head. Feel free to bend the knees, drop the head down, and reach those knuckles back and up. Inhaling. Exhaling, allowing them to soften. This is a wonderful pose. It's a simple inversion. It's also a symbol of releasing our mind to the heart as we lower the head below the heart. Continue your 3-part breath with ocean sound. Feel your shoulders relaxing as you exhale. And as you inhale, slowly lower the hands to your low back. Let them float down to the mat. And bring one foot back and then the other. And if it's not comfortable just sitting on your heels, then find another position that's comfortable. We're just going to sit for a moment to integrate. Let your eyes close. Find yourself in a comfortable position where you can have a tall spine. Let all your attention drop in. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice the body releasing, letting go, and the mind stilling. When you're ready, just let your eyes open, but maintaining that inward direction, that inward focus. We're going to come into camel pose next, Ushtrasana. So it's nice to have those blocks handy if you have them. And if you have any trouble with your knees, find some padding, maybe a towel or a blanket to put under your knees, because we'll be on our knees for a couple minutes. All right, so get that ready. You can also roll up your mat like that, so you have an extra padding under your knees. All right. So let's come onto our knees, and you can keep the blocks by your heels. You may not use them at all, and that's fine. Knees are hip width apart, that's 2 fist distance, and your feet are hip width apart also. Tops of the feet can be on the mat, but I recommend curling the toes under and get a nice little stretch in the bottoms of your feet. If that's not accessible, then keep the tops of your feet on the mat. As we did before with the supported back bend, we're going to bring our hands to the low back, fingers pointing down, that's for support, elbows in and back. And as if we're in mountain pose, again, the upper buttocks are down and in, belly's in, and we press into the knees now to lengthen up through the spine. We always want to lengthen. Take that breath in, get as tall as you can, up through the crown. And as you exhale, begin again to lift your heart, just as we did in the standing back bend. The hips come forward just a little bit, just so the hips stay over the knees. Lift, lift, lift your heart. Feel it expand and open. And this may be just where you want to stay. Again, not dropping the head back, but lengthening through the back of the neck. If you like, you can bring your hands down to the blocks. And remember, there are 3 heights. So you might want to bring it lower. As long as the hips are over the knees. If you're back like this, then you just want to stay with your hands in your low back. And breathe, letting go of struggles, not forcing. Deep inhalations, long, slow exhalations. On your next inhalation, hold through the next exhale. And then inhale slowly, come back up. Lower onto your heels, and let's come into child's pose. Maybe it feels good to widen the knees. Again, just feeling breath and allowing the body to completely release all tensions. Take a nice breath in, walk your hands back up. Shift your hips to one side. Let's bring the legs forward. And nice and wide. Now this is an important pose to pay attention to your spine with. If you're finding that having your legs wide or sitting this way is causing the low back to collapse, then you want to sit on something, a block, or something to bring you up higher. So whatever it takes to bring you to a comfortable position, please do that. And we can bring our legs out wide, but then we want to bring them in just a little bit. So we're not forcing them to be really, really wide. We want to have the ankles flexed. Again, it's helpful to bring the flesh out from the buttocks to ground the sits bones. And with those ankles flexed, feel the heels pulling into the hip sockets. That's going to activate the thighs and keep our legs strong. Toes are straight up towards the sky. And let's take a breath here. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Close your eyes and find a sense of ease right here. We're lengthening up from the sits bones. The legs are active, but we can be in a peaceful, calm state of being. Smooth breath in and out. Ujjayi Durga Pranayama, that soft ocean sounding 3-part breath. And open your eyes, place your hands on the floor in front of you. Continue to lengthen with your next breath. And exhale, we're going to hinge forward, and you may not come forward at all, and that's fine. We don't want to round at the spine. It's a hinge at the hips, and I'm going to again come to my side so you can see that. It's a hinge. The moment the spine begins to round, we're affecting our low back. We don't want to do that. Good. So keep the legs strong. You can use your hands for support. You can use a block or maybe even a bolster. You can have a long bolster where your head can just rest on the bolster. Or maybe you're able to come down further. Keep the legs active. You want to feel as though the heart is expanding and coming forward, lifting up your tail. Pull those heels in and let go of any thoughts of where you think you should be. That's going right into the ego mind, which is what we're trying to move away from. Those thoughts that come in that we're not conscious of, but now we're being more conscious of. And just being at peace with our body. Deep breaths. Use your breaths to stay calm, relaxed, and comfortable. Good. And inhale, slowly come back up. Good. Remove the block if you had one there. I like to bring my hands behind me, bend the knees, and maybe bring the soles of the feet together. If you're still on block, that's fine. And just rest sitting tall here, maybe holding your ankles or your toes or your shins. And just feel the thighs reaching away from you. It doesn't matter where you are in this pose, however it shows up, find that peace. Roll the shoulders back. Reach the thighs away from you. That's going to bring the knees down. And breathe. On your next inhalation, slowly release. Bring the hands under the knees. Bring the knees up. And let's extend the legs out and come down onto your mat on your back. With the knees bent and wide, your feet wide on the mat, let the knees just knock in together, arms relaxed by your sides. Just taking a couple of deep, long, slow breaths. Again, letting the back side of the body sink into the floor. The front of the body sinking into the back of the body. And preparing for Supta Matsyendrasana, knee down twist. We're going to bring the feet closer together. We're going to lift the hips, shift them maybe 5 or 6 inches over to the left side of the mat and lower them down. Straightening out the right leg on the floor. Placing the left foot on the right thigh and your right hand on your left knee. Good. Take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, simply guide that left knee over to the right until gravity can take over. We're not forcing it over. Maybe the left hip can be stacked above the right hip. And then just relax there. Keep both shoulders on the mat. If it feels right on your neck, you can turn your head to look over the left. You can lift it and turn it. And now breathe. Let your hips relax, your shoulders, your jaw. Never forcing this twist. Have a little smile in the corner of your mouth. And notice what happens if there's any shift.
Take a deep breath in. Slowly allow that left knee to float back up. Placing both feet again on the mat, coming back to center. And then lifting the hips, shifting them 5 or 6 inches to the right, lowering them down, straightening the left leg, placing the right foot on the left thigh, your left hand on your right knee, inhaling deeply, and exhaling the right knee, guiding it first to the left and then just letting it stop where it naturally does without letting the right shoulder lift. And again, maybe lift your head and turn to gaze to the right. And again, if you're feeling any restriction, use your breath. As you focus on the area of tightness, send the breath to that area just as if there were lungs there. As your attention flows there with breath, let the exhalation soften that area. Listen to the soft sound of Ujjayi breath, ocean breath. Inhaling deeply, slowly raise that right knee back up. Lowering both feet to the mat, bringing the hips back to center, and then tucking the knees into the chest. Lift your head, tuck your chin just a little bit. Reach your tail away from you as you draw the thighs into the chest. This is full wind relieving pose. Take a nice breath in and release the legs all the way up towards the sky. Maybe the arms as well. Let's rotate the ankles and the wrists. This is a nice simple inversion called dead bug. You can kind of see how it got its name. Let's rotate everything the other direction. And then maybe shake everything, arms, feet, legs. And it's nice even to take a deep breath in and with a sigh, ah. No one can hear you, so you can just be as loud as you want. Shake it out. Ah. And when you feel complete, we're going to come right into Shavasana, so lowering the feet to the mat. Take a deep breath. Straighten out both legs. Scan your body. Adjust in any way that you need to be very comfortable, to receive the stillness and the healing energies of your poses. Relaxing through both legs, through the feet and toes. Allowing the breath to flow into a very soft, relaxed belly. Opening the heart, arms relaxed, fingers, hands, shoulders, your throat, the back of the neck. And again, checking for any tightness in the face. Loosening the jaw, relaxing the eyes, the brow. The scalp resting on the skull. And simply follow that natural flow of breath. And let go deeply. Take advantage of this opportunity to let go into this peaceful realm of yourself.
Feel this body. Feel the fingers and the toes and give a little movement there. And maybe reaching the arms up overhead, lengthening through the whole body with a nice full body stretch. And then drawing one knee up and then the other, maybe tucking the knees into the chest. Might feel good to rock a little bit or make those circles. And then slowly coming to one side into fetal pose, resting your head on your arm. Just curling up into yourself. And then slowly pressing yourself back up to a seated position with your eyes closed, keeping that focus within. And maintaining this deep inner sense of peace, calm. And let this be your intention for your day, to bring this feeling with you throughout your day. Let's bring the hands to the heart. And please, once again, join me as we chant one sound of Om. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. And a deep breath. And slowly open your eyes, lower your hands. Jai Bhagwan. Victory to the light within you. Thank you once again for joining me. It's always a pleasure to be with you.